Greetings, good brothers and sisters. We are here for another installment. And let me just get this out the way. Hold on, let me get this out the way. Brother POLIGHT 45. It costs way too much money to be poor. Let's do that today. Damn, it's like that. Facebook.
What's the topic?
The topic is, just pinned it to the top.
Turn that noise off.
I don't know what that is. It's driving me nuts, but it is what it is.
It's off. You're right next to it.
I can turn it off.
Look up. The box.
Yo, I'm live, yo. I can't even do that. You about to have me over here,
We live, baby.
and
We live.
they waiting on me. It costs way too much money to be poor, people. It costs way too much money to be poor. Think about that. That's one of my sayings. And it's a fact. Just like I say, I'm too smart to be broke. You could just take my sayings and change your life, because words are our GPS to reality. It's a form of self-hypnotism. You could also impose your will on others inadvertently through the words that you use. That's correct. Consultations, $200 an hour, $300 in person. I send you some questions so I can be debriefed on your specific interests and needs. In my evaluation, I'm able to make an assessment, and then I can have the necessary resources, the links, the addresses, whatever it is that you may need based on your unique situation. And what that does is that optimizes the experience, so I don't have to cut into your time asking you these questions. That is the consultation. That is consulting. $200 an hour, $300 in person. All right, that's brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. It costs way too much money to be poor. 2020's coming. I'm comfortable and I'm excited. Not because of the new year. My new year is August 10th. I say our new years begin on our birthdays. Not on January 1st. That's my father's birthday. New Year's begins on your birthday. But I want you guys to go into this 2020 with two major resolutions. One, you need to tell yourself, I'm too smart to be broke. Two, you need to tell yourself, what? What you need to tell yourself? It costs too much money to be poor. Put the two together. I'm too smart to be broke, and it costs too much money to be poor. You think I'm joking? Do you know if you got a black card, you wouldn't have to pay for no APR, no interest rates for probably 6 months, or maybe a year, or maybe even 2 years, if you had a black card. Wealthy people be having black cards, right? Which is what I teach about. A black card create a situation where just because you got one, your flights are cheaper. Your groceries are cheaper in select restaurants or stores. Depending on what vehicles you purchase, it's cheaper, and you don't have to pay the outrageous interest rates that people with a lesser tax bracket have to pay. It costs too much money to be poor. When you're poor, your credit is all shot and messed up, right? And then people want you to spend more money to get the things that's harder for you to get because you're poor. And when you have more money, I'm going to tell you this. If you have over 500 grand, if you have over 350 grand, if you owe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $90,000, I'm going to tell you, all of that is water under the bridge. Because they want to create more viable opportunities for you to go into debt again. Or you to put your money back in the matrix. So that being the case, once you make a certain amount of money, credit is obsolete. The credit woes you had is obsolete. It costs too much money to be poor. The less money you have, the more money the house costs. The less money you have, the more the apartment costs. The less money you have, the more the car costs. The goal has to be get the money. People talking about, I'm getting the bag, I'm getting the bag. All I see is bags under your damn eyes. Those are the only bags y'all been getting. The bags under your eyes. Get into the bag. Man, we just, buy back the block. When people said buy back the block, I still don't see nobody being the landlord. People talk about getting to the bag. I only see bags under your eyes. It's interesting We like popularizing statements that don't empower us. I said, make your New Year's resolution. 1, I'm too smart to be broke. And 2, it costs too much money to be poor. Think about it. The number one reason you don't want to be poor is because it costs too much. Because they don't, real talk, they don't charge wealthy people what they charge poor people. Facts. And the quality of life is way better, people. You go in a poor community, you see clinics. Show me a clinic in a good community. You know, clinic connotatively has a negative orientation around its meaning. You know, if we're playing basketball and we really beating a team badly, they said they put on a clinic. Poor communities have clinics, like abortion clinics. Poor communities have clinics. Wealthy communities don't have that crap. If you look at the pound numbers on your fruits and vegetables, you'll be able to know that you get second and third rate vegetables. If you're in my holistic mathematics classes or courses, you would know how to look at the numbers on your fruits and veggies and tell that, oh, it was already in a supermarket. It got packed up and given to your supermarket. Oh my goodness. Does this really happen? Yes. Yes. You always got to leave your full name and phone number. You want a consultation. Brother Timothy. Leave your full name, phone number, and say what it is that you want. Brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. I'm here. Let me throw some facts out there for you. Yes, we have the master course, which is $250 now. Still discounted rate is supposed to be $300. And yes, we have the entrepreneur course that teach you 3 different streams of income. You will only make about $1,000, $3,000 tops. It's designed for parents and children to make the money. But you don't have to be a parent or a child. I'm bringing it in for the first. On January 1st, when you open up your computer, you guys are going to see the class 5 for the master course, dealing with the trust, integrating it with the credit. And for the people that purchase or are going to purchase the entrepreneur course, which is also $250 to learn about at least 3 different income streams for children to be able to make money off of. And parents, that's what it's designed for, but you don't have to be a parent or a child. When you open up your laptop, you're going to see it on January 1st. Because I'm on a campaign. And then when I get you guys out the way, then I got a special class that I'm doing for the gang members. That's going to be for absolutely free. An economic class, economic course for gang members or people who just came home from prison. Just got to show you proof. That's all I want to know. You got to show me your blue bandana or your red bandana. That's all you got to do. Somebody help out, you be banging. I'm doing this for a lot of my good brothers and sisters in the hood. I'm doing pretty good. I got some free time coming up, and that's a donation onto them. Not the money. It's going to mess up the money. The information. There's more value in information than money. But let me give you some quick facts. Things that you never think about. You know you're about to mess up, right? Because you know, damn, I got a debt. I got a real bad debt. I'm not going to be able to pay this month. Stuff is out of control. It's crazy. It's going to affect my credit report. My house is about to go into foreclosure. I don't want this to come up on my credit report. I need to see if I can work something out with this one, that one, and the third. You know what's interesting? No one ever told you that you can call the credit bureaus. You can contact TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax. No one ever told you that. You can send them written correspondence. And for free or at max $10, sometimes $5. For free or at max $10 or $5. What? You can freeze your credit. Yes, no reporting can take place. If it behooves you to stop the reporting for coming through, if it behooves you to stop them from dry snitching, you can send the correspondence to them. I got a PDF for it. And ask them, please freeze my report for now. Please freeze all reporting because there's something shaky going on. There's some things that need to be rectified. It's borderline fraud if it ain't fraud. And I want to get to the bottom of it because I don't want it to impact my history. I don't want you guys getting a report of that and then I got to correct it. So what I need you to do is stop it. I'll put y'all on when you can start, when you can turn the on switch again for my credit. See? I don't make these things up. But the problem is no one tells you that it can happen. You can freeze reporting on your credit report, people. You can actually tell them, hey, I need a little downtime because shit is tricky out here. Of course they're not going to tell you that, because then that would put you at an advantage, because then it would give you some time to get yourself straight. But what stresses us out is we don't even get a 24, 48 hours a week, right? Sometimes that's the difference between a poor score that you got to now build up, because it's easier. Let me say it like this. It can take 10 years to build your reputation and 10 seconds to ruin it. And that's how credit is. You can spend 10 years to build up good credit, and one little mistake or one little error happen, one bad judgment, letting somebody use your credit card, and the next thing you know, it takes forever to get your score to come right back up. No matter how much good you do. You can do no good. But what if you knew all you had to do is send in a little affidavit, one of Brother Polite's PDFs from the course, and just tell them, hey, yo, fam, freeze my report real quick. And like I said, most states it's free. But it depends. Not true. Not true, Miss Williams. Absolutely false. You have every right. You have every right. You mean to tell me if somebody committed fraud on your report, you have no choice but to continue letting them commit fraud on your report? And you got to sit there and watch as everything gets messed up until you get your identity straight? That's not according to the rules, miss. It's not true. So don't do that. Don't spread no misinformation in this platform, on this exchange of information. Don't do that. It's not true. It's actually common sense. Just like I have a PDF for those of you that's in the course. You see that you can add positive items to your report. You don't have to sit here and be the subject of negative reports. You don't have to sit here and be the subject of all sorts of bad mouthing that's be going on. They bad mouth you. Yo, you ain't paid for this. You ain't paid for that. How about, you learn to never deal with the same lender twice. So if somebody did loan you, don't get it from them a second time. For whatever reason, it abuses your report. It's saying, oh, now that you found somebody that gives you money, that's your bread and butter, let's see if somebody else is willing to give you money. Maybe you got somebody in your back pocket in that company or in that industry. You see, so you don't do that. That'll lower your score. Never close bank accounts. Don't do that. Don't close no bank accounts. Okay? Don't you ask to close the bank accounts. That affects your credit very badly. Set up a company and have your own company lend you money, and then add that as a positive item to your report. And you'll go up 35 to 50 points. You'll go up 35 to 50 points. And if it costs too much to get a trust, which you should get, because the trust is going to help you get about 6 figures at your disposal. Easy. Not counting when it's assigned to an insurance policy of your choice. To get another 6 figures at your disposal when you access the cash value. The trust is the key. Let that be known. That is the heart of this whole situation. But if you don't get a trust, but you just need to work your way up to eventually get at least 100, 150 points, 130, 115 points, then you go down to your Secretary of State and let them know you want to create a fiction and let them give you the fiction number. And then you go to your bank and say, look, I just want to open up a legal fiction real quick. And once you open that up, you have proof of your account, you get your first bank statement and summary. You annex that to one of those affidavits, one of those PDFs that I give you. You send it to the credit reporting bureaus. To whom it concerns, you need to add this as a positive item to your report. Because I'm doing business, baby. Give me my 35 to 50 points. And you make sure you get that landline. You could go to Vonage.com, VONAGE.com. Get a wireless landline. Get a wireless landline, especially in the zip code that's highly reputable. You know where people are making over $150,000 or more a year. Why you want to do that, though? It's going to get good. Hold on. Share this video. I'm going to give y'all 20 seconds to share this video. Share the video. I gotta charge this phone. This keeps happening. Share the video, people. Let me see if this will work. If I can get this. Oh yeah, we in business. Oh, nope, we not in business. Hold on. Oh yeah, I think we in business. Hold on. We winning. I swear to you, we winning. Portable charger. Standing up tall. My phone leaning on it. It shall be done, because it must be done. It costs too much money to be poor. What was I talking about, people? You leave your full name, your phone number, your email. For the first, I want you to kick off the first. That's how I designed this thing. I know you're like, yo, Polite, give me class number 5. I'm this close. I'm getting it in. People like, yo, I just got my $20,000 credit card. I was disappointed. Fam, we aiming for $50,000. He did that joint prematurely. You know who you are. I ain't going to blow up your spot. The goal is to get you at least 2 credit cards that have 50 grand. Because then that would be 100 grand. And then that would be 1/10 $1 million. And then you also, if you bought the trust at a time before that, that's even better. That's for different reasons. But the goal is, between the trust, the insurance, and the credit cards, you should be well over $250,000. Well over. This can happen in a few months. Because you're entitled to at least 1/10 $1 million in credit. And then mess it up. Everyone is entitled to at least 1/10 $1 million to be messed up. And if you never had 1/10 $1 million, I'm actually saying this, but it's actually law. This is a fact. Many of you never were in a position or entrusted with that line of credit for people to be disrespecting you and not approving you of nothing. The problem is, many of you have slim files, and it's like that on purpose. So that's why you have, what Gabrielle teaches, the wealth score quotient. And then you have credit scores. Slim files mean even if you have very good credit, your folder's so slim, you don't meet the criteria of entrusting you with larger lines of credit and better opportunities, because credit is privilege. Credit is the new caste system. Caste systems are supposed to be bad. You know, when you have serfs and peasants, and then they're the royalty, and it's different rankings in society, and we would like to believe we don't live in that society, but credit is that society. Because one person could walk in and walk out of a dealership with a car and pay nothing until a few months later or next year. And some cars won't be sold to you, no matter how good your credit is. Rolls Royce, because that's a status car. There's a whole history behind Rolls Royce that we need to talk about on one of these streams. It was really designed for like the Jew to establish themselves as separate and distinct from everybody else. And then you just had to have an incredible amount of money if you really was just going to buy that. But if you was looking for credit, that was only a privilege allotted to you, and still is a privilege allotted to you, because a Rolls Royce is a house on wheels. So you're not buying a regular car. Now you can get a Lamborghini under different pretense, but the Rolls Royce is a different conversation. We talking dealership time. That's what we talking in terms of dealership. It's another conversation though. If you say, oh, Polite, man, you gonna buy those kind of cars, what is it gonna do for you? It devalues the second it goes off the lot. Lies. Someone told you that. He's popular, like the buy back the block people. They told you that, didn't they? Didn't they tell you that? I know they told you that. But what you don't know is taxes on my Rolls Royce about $1,800. Say, yo, you paying $1,800 taxes for a car? You stupid. But what if the car is $400,000? If I put $400,000 in the bank, how much money do they want out of it? Let's think. If I put $1 million in the bank, they will want $350,000 minimum out of taxes. Unless I knew some of the nuances to the economic game. So, it's very likely, let's think, $400,000 in the bank, it's very likely somebody wants damn near $100,000. In or around. I hope you're walking with me. Somebody wants $100,000 in or around. Why is that important? Because you can buy a Rolls Royce under the pretense that you can cash it in. We can only make X amount of them. It's generally going to appraise for more money if you shop properly. If you know how to shop right. So I shop right. Mine's is cash on wheels, meaning I could turn it in. And not only would I turn it in, it appraises for more money than I bought it for originally. Why is that important? Because if I put $400,000 in the bank, I have to pay near $100,000 in taxes. But if I buy a $400,000 car that appraises for $600,000 by now, and my taxes are $1,800 a year, then if I paid taxes on the same car for 10 years, I would spend $18,000. I wouldn't come remotely close to $100,000, would I? And if I paid for 20 years, I'd be spending $36,000 on taxes for this car. That appraised for more money than the time that I bought it. And I still wouldn't come close to the $100,000 that they want me to pay for taxes for having the same amount of money in the bank. So if I bought a $400,000 car versus put $400,000 in the bank, $400,000 in the bank means they're going to take about $100,000 taxes. Or it's demanded that I do. Eventually, they're going to catch up with me. My money slow up. You owe us money. I keep making money. They'll be quiet. Watch where it goes until it slows up. You owe us money. Still making money. You owe us money. That's the game for uneducated people. People that come into wealth and don't know the game. So anyway, if I put $400,000 in the bank, they're going to want about $100,000, a little less in taxes. If I buy a $400,000 car that appraises for more money, based on certain criteria, mileage, and everything on a year-to-year basis, whatever, scratches, marks, paint, whatever. But even if it doesn't appraise and it doesn't go up $1, even if it goes down a few thousand, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, not the case in this situation. What you pay in taxes year to year on the Rolls Royce would never compare to the $100,000. So that means it's cash on wheels. Because to the naked eye, you're looking at a car. But to another person, that's why when they do your net worth, they include everything that's worth money, right? They don't just say how much money you got in your bank account and that's your net worth. They don't do that. They look at all your assets and they add it up. Because they know wealthy people will now start buying paintings. Oh man, they spent all that money on paintings? No. It's a game. I'm not against art. But it's a game because when you're wealthy, you can buy things that appraise for more. And if it appraises for more, you can cash it in anytime. And if I can cash in my art anytime, then I got free of taxes on my wall. So why would I put $90,000 in the bank and have to pay tens of thousands on taxes when I could put $90,000 on the wall and cash it in at any time? So here it is. You're like, yo, these crazy ass people spending all this money on this artwork on their walls. No, that's tax-free money hanging on the walls, and that's tax-free money on the wheels. But what the hell do I know? What I do know, it costs too much money to be poor. It costs way too much money to be poor. Because you can't hide your money, because you ain't going to buy a painting for $30 and turn it in for $30. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to get away with that. That's not going to happen. But you could buy you a $100,000 painting, and a group of people agree, yo, we're going to sell this stuff. Yo, there was a banana that sold, I think, for like $10,000 or $40,000 at the art fair in Miami. Look it up. It was duct taped to a wall. It was a real banana, duct tape. $10,000.
And a few minutes after they bought it.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But you don't understand the game, so to the naked eye, it's just a $10,000 banana.
Abstract bananas.
You feel me? But somebody else understands, yo, this is the game, so we ain't got to pay no taxes. This is the game. Art is one of the biggest games. That's one of the tax-free games in the world. I buy me a little $100,000 art. Might as well buy something I really like. But I know I could turn this over to my children. I could retitle it to my trust, and I can protect it. No doubt, because if I put it in a bank account, it's subject to taxes that may have been deferred in my lifetime that my children have to pay if they inherit the bank account. But if I purchase art and I retitle it to the trust, then I can use it at any point in my lifetime as it appraises for more, or it can be transferred to my posterity and nothing can be deducted from it because it's art. It doesn't qualify as something that needs to be deducted in taxes. Facts. Generally, whatever you spending costing that much normally appraises for more. And you're normally buying it. And this is another thing. People, oh, you gotta buy a house so you can turn it over to your children. Negro, who be telling y'all crazy to yo, listen. Buying houses is highly overrated when there isn't a real estate bubble. What does this mean? You should be able to forecast real estate. Yeah, it's brotherpolite45@gmail.com for consulting. Yeah, free game. You already know. Free game. You already know. This is a fact. It appreciates without paying taxes every year. Facts. You find. That's why I said the Rolls Royce is one of the games. The Rolls Royce is one of the games you can play where you can stash $500,000 in front of someone's face and don't have to pay legitimized taxes on it. Because remember, if you make $1 million, you owe $350,000 in taxes. If you play basketball, you owe $500,000 in taxes. That means, yo, he got a $10 million contract. He just got a $5 million contract. And if he's uneducated, he spends about $5 million, think he had $5 million left, and then he has to pay taxes. Now he's a slave, so he's going to take any deal on the table instead of hold out based on his talent. He's going to grab anything because otherwise he got to deal with the embarrassment of being broke after he done bought all these assets that don't appraise for more, like houses. Why is it someone who's making millions of dollars is still paying for a mortgage? Why are you still paying for things month to month if you're making all this money? You own it or you rent. You can do the statistics and see how many wealthy people rent. Because when you forecast the real estate paradigm, you'll know, okay, I would only buy a home in certain neighborhoods because I know if it's about generational wealth, if it's about wealth stewardship, generational wealth, just like to give you different ways to say the same thing. If it's about wealth stewardship, generational wealth, then just because it's a nice neighborhood today doesn't mean it's going to be a nice neighborhood 20 years from now. No, now let's go to the county surveyor. Let's go to the local tax assessor's office. Let's forecast. Let's see if any malls are going to be built here in 10 years, 20 years. This is free information to the public. So if I do make an investment, oh, they're going to make a stadium. You think they make a stadium overnight? They got to get approved of that years prior. And anywhere a stadium gets made, gentrification will take place. Because stadiums are only built in poor neighborhoods that used to be poor 10 years into the future. What did I just say? That sounds weird. Stadiums are only built in poor neighborhoods that used to be poor 10 years ago into the future. You might be in the 10 years now mode. So, case in point, if you go to Las Vegas right now, they're building a football stadium. It's going to be the biggest stadium in America. I think it's going to in-house about 90,000 people. They're building it in the poor neighborhood. But that won't be a poor neighborhood 10, 15 years from now. Nobody's going to remember the hood lived there. If you come to LA, I think there's the Rams Stadium, football stadium. That's on the cusp of the hood. I think it's Crenshaw or something like that around there. That's the damn hood. And Black Beverly Hills ain't too far from there. Yeah, black people. That's why they call it Black Beverly Hills. They doing pretty good over there. Though they say they ain't. You know, that's another conversation. I won't go there. Let's stay focused. So what happens is you only build stadiums in poor neighborhoods. The prices get too high for the poor businesses and for the poor homeowners. They got to get up out of there. They can get paid off or they can be flushed out through the cost of living being too expensive. Years down the line, it'll always look like it was a good neighborhood and was always booming. But the point that I'm making is it costs too much money to be poor. You're always going to be watching your back when you're poor. It's a fact. It's a fact. Atlanta Stadium, correct. It's a complete fact. Stadiums are always built in poor neighborhoods that are destined to be wealthy neighborhoods. So why am I saying that? Because if I was going to buy a property to own it, I would buy a property with the understanding of the building plans 10, 15, 20 years down the line. And for that reason, if it doesn't look good 20 years down the line, but I want to be in that particular neighborhood, then I would simply rent. So I have the option to move. Because things may change. Options come before you that you never considered before due to conversation, mouth to ear, presentation, TV. You never know. So until you know you're in a hot spot, you rent. They always are pushing on to people who don't have enough to do so. Yo, you gotta get a house. Why you over there renting, Polite? You in them luxury condos, man. You get a house. Look at you. Laughing at me. But I travel all over the world at will, whenever I choose to. I could take my house with me in the form of just renting a damn spot. And life isn't bad for me. I eat very good. I live very good. Real talk. But they always tell poor people to own. And poor people will protrude their chests because they just got a new house. And all they owe is $480,000 left in the hood. What are you doing owing anyone hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hood? Anytime you're in a debt that tells you you're going to need to pay it for 30 years from the date that you got into it, it's a bad deal. Because if you were to keep that property, more than likely your children will inherit that debt. And who says your children want to live in there? To do what? Inherit the debt of that property? They don't even get to live their own life. They got to keep the house that you couldn't keep. No. You turn over property that you own free and clear to your children. That's what you do. You don't owe $300,000 with the belief that one day you'll pay it all off 30 years from that date when you're on the cusp of death, because the lifetime expectancy is 72 years old for you now, especially you, black man, because the women are outliving us. So here it is, you bought a house around that median age that people buy houses, which is around 35 years old. You get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and now 30 years from that time, you're 65 years old. You have a 7-year maturation date on your life before it expires. By that time, you're probably senile, stressed out from attempting to pay that debt. Your Social Security money don't look exactly how it's supposed to look because you wasn't able to forecast money to realize the ratio per the Standard & Poor's. Yes, you may walk into $300,000 of your pension, but not realize your $300,000 due to hyperinflation may only be worth 120 grand. Because it's food inflation, it's hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is printing more money than makes sense. Let's just do that per modern money mechanics. The Federal Reserve has a free PDF that you could download on the internet called Modern Money Mechanics. For every $100 that I deposit into the bank, they can create 90. For every $1,000 I deposit into the bank, they can create 900 that doesn't exist. This is called Modern Money Mechanics. It eventually leads to hyperinflation. Compound that interest with food inflation. Kraft cheese singles, right? Used to be 12 in a pack. I don't know what the hell it costs, but let's say it costs $8 for 12 in a pack. Now it's down to 6 slices, and it probably costs $10 now. So what I'm saying is your bag of chips used to be a quarter for more chips in it. Now it has less chips in it, and it's 55 cents. It's called food inflation. So you won't be satisfied because it's not the amount that satisfies you. So you normally have to double up and triple up. So you're spending more for less while they're printing more for less. And the combination of the two, when they run concurrent, impacts the money you think you're going into, called your pension. So you think you have $300,000 you walking into your pension, but it's worth $120,000 due to hyperinflation and food inflation. It costs too much money to be poor. Because you worked 30 years of your life to finally get $300,000 in your pension that they're going to pay you out. Because if you attempt to take any of it out in the interim of your life before you retire, they're going to penalize you. And this is why you need to get a QRP, or a qualified retirement plan, which is a cash and tax deferrable compensation arrangement plan where you can roll over your contributions. What does that mean? That's fancy jargon for saying that if you have a pension plan, normally a traditional retirement account or a Roth IRA, all that shit is trash, right? Because you get penalized for accessing your own money that you're working for because someone else is investing it for you. That's why they don't want you to take it. They get to mess it up plenty times, and when the new suckers come into town, the new generation, and they work for their pension, they take some of that and they put it into yours. And when the prisoners die, they allocate the monies that the prisoners made in prison, and they turn it over to you. When soldiers die, they turn it over there to indemnify the mortgage debt. That's why you have MBS, or mortgage-backed securities, because when a person gets incarcerated, they have to sign a bid bond, payment bond, and performance bond, and then those three bonds get consolidated into an MBS mortgage-backed security. So whenever somebody doesn't pay their mortgage and a foreclosure has to take place, it is the free labor of the modern-day slaves. Per the Constitution, that slavery is outlawed or abrogated unless duly convicted of a crime. Come on, people, Amendment 13, Amendment 14, read that. So what happened is you get to work for free, and your prison labor is allocated into flawed mortgage endeavors, and that's what's called a surety, because the Corrections Corporation of America acts as a surety, or the insurance company, to see to it that they pay for the mortgages that are unsatisfied through prison labor and soldier deaths. This is how this whole thing works. So there's a direct correlation between mass incarceration and foreclosures. As foreclosures go up, privatized prisons are erected. And they have to keep a quota of at least 90% occupancy in order for the prison to make money. So now we have to create laws that, pass bills, because they don't create laws no more, they pass bills per the House Joint Resolution, March 9th, 1933. So you don't hear nothing about no new laws on the federal level. You only hear about bills. Okay? Bills get passed, become statutes, statutes become codes, and now everything is a product of commerce. And so privatized prisons are erected, and they have to keep a quota of 9 out of every 10 cells filled up in order for the prison to stay open. And so for everybody to work together, like McDonald's that invests in the prison industrial complex, in order for this whole thing to work, everybody has to work together to make sure they massively incarcerate people to satisfy the mortgage debts, because that makes up 1/3 of America's income, called the gross domestic product. Gross domestic product. GDP. GDP is when you're a business, because America's a corporation, it's a 501c3 registered in Delaware. Okay. There's a lot of information coming out here. But this phone is what's killing me. Hold on now. This is bad. Hold on, people. It's getting good too, because I ain't get to put it down like this in a long time. I'm just hyper right now. I love it when I'm like this because it flows. Hold on. Yes. Okay, this is where it gets dangerous though, because the damn phone is cutting off and on. This is not working. This is crazy. The phone is cutting off and on. I might have to do something weird and wacky like this. Hold on, people. Shit. Okay, that's not working. Okay, you can stop making that noise. Hold on, family. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. This is pissing me off. You know why? Because when it's going down and the information is popping, this type of stuff has to happen. Okay. Hold tight. I just want to keep this thing going. Remember, it's brotherpolite45@gmail.com. This is really, if there's such a thing called the devil, this shit is the devil, because My phone dropped in percentage like 15% out of nowhere in the middle of me talking. Okay, hold on. I'm going to just hold it like this. Gross domestic product is called GDP. So when you're studying a company and how they make their money, there's certain things that you should understand, like the GAAP, Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. That's also important. Okay, so that's called GAAP. Then you got to understand goodwill bonds, right? So you got to understand that your commercial banks, most of them are storefronts, so it's illegal the way they operate. Yeah, they're storefronts, not actual banks. They don't meet the criteria for banks. Like PNC Bank, we help get rid of quite a few people's foreclosures by proving they was conducting fraud on accounts of the fact that they were a storefront, not a bank. PNC Bank is an example. Okay, a lot of the banks that you think are major banks, we'll call them commercial banks, right? Like rappers be commercial, so they be fake. So a lot of those banks is commercial because they're fake storefronts. But anyway, those storefronts that you call banks are servicing loans to the private investment bank. So what that means is they get enough people in debt because their GDP, their greatest GDP is putting people in debt for mortgages. Okay, and then after they get a bunch of people to commit to mortgage debts, where it accumulates to maybe $500 million, maybe $1 billion, they consolidate it and create a promissory note or goodwill bond. They turn that over. The commercial banks don't have liquid on hand. So what they do is say, hey, give me 10% of that. So if you got $1 billion out of that, give me 100 million or something to that effect. And that's where they get their assets. That's where they get their monies from. They get all the pledges, they consolidate the pledges, create a goodwill bond or a promissory note, and they cash that out. And the big homie put them back on the streets to sell their little dime bags again in the form of mortgage debts. Okay? That's how that's going to go. Let's do it. Facts. It costs too much money to be poor, people. So yeah, the master course, this is why I have it set for the first. Those of you that buy the course now, it's $250. You'll be able to review the last 4 classes that transpired in addition to the corresponding links to 33 PDFs that are letters and affidavits that will be used to send to credit bureaus and financial institutions alike. 3%. Come on, this got to stop. Hold on. All right, I'm going to try something different. Hold on, because we're on 3%. This is not cool. Okay. Why I keep doing that, though? That's the sucker shit about it. Oh, I see. Hold on. Hold on, people. All right. I know what to do. I know exactly what to do. Hold on. Hold on. Closes, that's what it is. But yeah, you forward your full name, your phone number to brotherpolite45@gmail.com. And you leave your full name, your phone number, and if you're purchasing the master course, where you're looking to get access to larger lines of credit, get that 1/10 of a mil, man. Stop playing with that. But larger lines of credit is $250, discounted rate. Yeah, you know, I'm in travel mode right now, busting moves. But I felt the vibe to do this class. Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can get this in right here. Perfect. Okay. Let's see how long this lasts. Otherwise, we're on 3%. No, it's not that. It's from traveling. I got to buy a new charger. My joint broke. The piece of it broke. So I'm actually using it now. And you know how this thing goes? When you get a charger, you got to pull the cord tight and hold it at an angle just to keep it going. I ain't really feel like doing that because it's a distraction while I'm teaching. So I was using this bad boy. This really works very good. But the problem is the cord is compromised, one. So in order for me to charge this, I got to use the same cord that I got to twist up the cord and hold it a certain way and make it stay a certain... See, this is the type of crazy stuff you got to go through. So no, it's not that, oh, you making all that money, you can't get a charger. Yo, chargers break. It happens. Now, what I could did is said I won't do this damn stream and share any free information so people won't have to worry about if I got enough money why I don't get a charger. I just wait till I get the charger, ball out, show you a brand new $40 damn charger, and then don't have the same energy and spirit. Probably put this off and do it again 2 weeks from now when I'm actually more free. Or you can appreciate the information right now, and we can hope that this shit charges. Because I really need to get it, and I've been prolonging it because I be making moves. Yo, I got 3% on here, but it might work. And then this is excellent, but it's low on battery, and I need this to get through. Plus, I had it standing up behind the phone, so that way if I leave it standing up behind the phone, it's charging the phone. But for whatever reason, that luck has run out. And what I don't want to happen is to think that it's charging and it's not charging, and then the phone dies. So right now, I still see the charge sign going. I got the damn cord wrapped around the phone at an angle, so I'm afraid to really move the way I want to move, because at any given point, I'm going to see a sign that go doo-doo, 2%, and then it's so crazy, it could turn around and just die on 3%, because, yo, I be telling you, I was up like 25%, and it went down to 15% out of nowhere, so that's also bothering me. And I used to be like, yo, I'm just going to buy a more expensive phone. Doo-doo. 20%. So sometimes it might be something else, people. It might be something else, but we doing what we can. Yeah. You know, I got to turn off the background apps. That's also a good idea, because that do be killing the battery quick. That's probably why that sudden drop too. You know, if it ain't that, it's definitely the government. You know, it's one of the two. But maybe both of them working. Hey, yeah, I'm with that. Chat 9 if you appreciate the information. I'm sorry, yo, I got so much going on in my mind. That's why I like the live streams. Because when I'm debating, I got to be very strategic, and I got to get rid of my ADD. Because my mind be everywhere. I want to talk about the gut bacteria. I want to go crazy. I want to tell you why each of the bacteria have a certain name, because the suffix alludes to the type of shape that the bacteria has, and that's how they classify them. And then I want to talk to you about the enteroendocrine cells and how they exist in the synapse and connects with the gut to the brain, but the brain is also connected through the same means to the heart via the vagus nervous system. So the heart, the brain, and the gut is all connected. And then I want to go back, and I want to talk to you about qualified retirement plans, cash and tax deferrable compensation arrangement plans. And I don't want the rules. I just want to say all this stuff at random. Because actually, I said all that stuff without even reading anything anybody was saying. So I can deviate on my damn self. I don't even need y'all to do it. And when y'all do it, then I feel like I'm going nuts. Because the type of stuff y'all be on, it be out of nowhere. Like, yo, was Prophet Muhammad's uncle really poultry? And I'm, did you check your mail today? Like, yo, it be stuff like, damn, bro, like, that's so far from every single thing on planet Earth right now. Why you asking me that? But, yo, generally, the information makes me very, very happy. You know, I apologize for the battery thing, because I lost like 200 of you guys. I was on like 800 plus people. No one has patience these days. I'm about to go with damn movies.
They're going to send you a charger.
Laugh out loud, you a mess. Tracy Brown, you funny. Yo, I like being like this, though, because I love the info. And sometimes I just want to do a free-for-all. Because in my mind, that's how we learn, right? We get excited about something. We look it up. We look that up. We find something. We look that up. And then sometimes we like, how did we even get here?
Yeah.
But it's been a great ride. It becomes a great journey. The information is so fun and powerful. But anyway, we're winning. We're actually up 2% more people on the polls. Is that 5%? I want to get out of this little single percent gray area. So if there's anything going on, if we go down the charts, we got time to get back up. Yeah, press 9 if you're feeling this information. Press 9 if you're loving it and you appreciate it. Because that's motivational. In fact, I just text one of my good brothers from the money team. And I was checking in. And he was like, yo, what's that about? And I said, I was sending some information to him and everything. And I said, it's random. He said, yeah, that shit random. And I started breaking down. But I told him, I said, yo, bro, 20 years ago, I swear I could show you the screenshot of this. I sent Rilla, son. I'm like, yo, bro, 20 years ago, just think, the national standard for male testosterone was 500 ng over DL. And now, the national standard 20 years later is 250 ng over DL. And now for women, they need about 8 to 80, 70, I say 80, 8 to about 80 ng over DL in testosterone. So basically, if nobody's realizing what's going on, the mathematics that makes me a man is getting closer and closer to being equal to that of what a woman needs to be a man. What a man needs to be a woman. The amount of testosterone that a woman needs before she has to worry about having too much is about 80 ng over DL. 8 to 80. She really doesn't need that much testosterone. 8 to 80. If she has under 8, then that can affect her ability to give birth. Okay? If she goes over 80, something's wrong. It's a hormonal imbalance. In fact, when she's at 70, once you start going near 80, they start worrying that there's a hormonal imbalance. And so, I randomly just started texting him this stuff. It was wild. I'm like, yo, bro, shit is crazy. He's like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, yo, fam, the national standard for men's testosterone level before they need hormonal therapy, because the integrity of their manhood is at stake, was at 500 ng over DL. And now, the national standard 20 years later, which in the last 20 years, we can say this homosexuality is spiking up. And men are smaller. And their voices are less deeper. Which means my father was more man than me. And his father was more man than him. Think about it. Because testosterone gives me my breadth, my wideness. If you look at your grandfather's shoes, they're huge. And they're wider. The feet were wider and larger. The shoulders had more breadth. It took more distance from one shoulder to the next. If you look at the boxing rounds, there used to be 100 rounds they used to fight. They'll die if they do past 12 rounds. Boxers be bragging, yo, I was training and I added an extra 2 minutes and I did an extra 3 rounds for an extra 2 minutes each round because I'm sparring. When boxers back in the day was doing 100 rounds. People are getting hurt playing basketball at an all-time high. But in the 90s, they was hitting each other dumb hard, fall on the floor, and if you ain't get back up, you was called the B word. And so, more men have breasts today than ever before. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Women obtain about 12 to 14% more body fat than that of men. So this means if men take on too much fat, somehow estrogen is involved. And that's why the heavier you get, you start growing breasts when you get too fat as a man. It's a fact. We secrete more oil than women, and we access less fat than women. They'll get fat quicker, okay? It's important because they wind up bearing children. That's the goal. Okay, childbearing hips, so they're supposed to have hips. That's the goal. Makes it easier for them to deliver the child. There's different things that makes them women, things that makes us men. But the point of the matter is, I say, yo, bro, We went from 500 ng over DL to 20 years later. What's required of a man testosterone wise is at the minimum of 250 ng over DL. That means there's less of a standard for me to be a man, but what really gets to me is that what's required of me before they think something's wrong with me as a man, the number is so close to what's required of a woman to not be a man, which means we're almost equal now. If they go down another 100, the men will be women. Because there's more testosterone in our water. There's testosterone blockers. That's in the medicine and food. It's called anti-androgens, or it's also called testosterone blockers. Transgender people get therapy, and they induce them with testosterone blockers, which are anti-androgens, because transgender men are mad that they have to be reminded of their manhood through their voice, through the growth of their hair, through their muscularity. So they block the things that make them men so they can convince the world they really believe they're a woman. So they cheat and they get testosterone blockers called anti-androgens. Androgens are male hormones. These are hormones that specifically make men men.
They're not trying to make the world believe that they're not a man. They just want to be a woman.
Yeah, they want to be a woman, but they are trying to convince the world they're a man. That's why they do so much to not be able to be distinguished as a man through the plastic surgery and all the other stuff. They want to convince people they're not a man. But anyway, the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making, family, is that nobody gives a damn, right? Oh, here's the other point I was making. I hit up the brother in random. This has to do with the stream. And he's like, it's random. He said, yo, we got to build. We talking about, yo, we got to connect. I said, yo, we definitely got to connect, King. And so I said, yo, I just want you to know I had you in mind, my brother. And, I had asked him randomly, yo, how's your health? He said, yo, what's up? Everything's good? You feeling something? You think something's wrong? And I'm like, nah, I'm just checking on you, random. And then he said, yeah, that is random. I said, nah, I just need to know how your health is, how you feeling. I want to know you're doing good. He said, as good as I consider I am. So I went on to tell him, my brother, you do know, when someone asks how you're doing, and you receive that as, wow, somebody just took the time out to ask how I'm doing, endorphins and oxytocin is secreted. These are hormones. Hormones give instructions. Endorphins give you instruction, just feel good, and you want whatever made you feel good again. So appreciation causes endorphins to be secreted. And then there's oxytocin, which is called the bonding hormone. It's secreted whenever a woman is breastfeeding. It makes you bond or connect with the person or entity that created that opportunity. So for women, it's a mechanism in nature so she can be more motherly and more protective of her child because every time she breastfeeds, she bonds more to her child because the hormone is telling her to bond to whatever's responsible for me being produced. Now, you may say, well, damn, you appreciating your brother creating oxytocin. What is that about? Well, oxytocin is also produced when you find money out of nowhere. Oh, shit, I just found some money. It's the same thing that's produced when you're on crack or cocaine. You get a high. Same thing produced when you do a job and you actually get paid the right amount of money for the job. When you get paid the right amount of money for the job, it's produced. Why is all of this important? I'm going to tell you why. Because if we took the time out just to show each other some appreciation. Because, let me tell you something else. When a person's stressed, let's say a man is stressed, he produces cortisol. Everyone produces cortisol when it's stressed. Those are instructions too. And cortisol diffuses testosterone. So for as much as stress as a man gets, it's as much as his testosterone levels go down. That's why a lot of men that stressed out, it's hard for them to get erect. Or it'll affect them the night that they're supposed to do something. If they got on their mind, damn, wife left me, you got me in a strip club, but shit. And she's like, yo, on the strength, if we go in the back, if you pay me a little extra, we could really do something. You go back there, you're like, nothing's happening. Because you're stressed because you love that woman. But that's just me just giving you a scenario. But the reality is that when cortisol is produced, there's instructions because you're stressed to block out whatever's taking place. And what cortisol does, it acts as a testosterone blocker because when cortisol is present, testosterone is deleted. So your body's like, don't produce anymore and ignore whatever's there to the level of the amount of cortisol that's here. So stress is very important. We know cortisol will give instructions to the body to terminate the baby in a woman's womb. Cortisol will be like, yo, shit, it's too much stress, and this baby is causing extra stress on this woman's body. Get rid of the baby to keep the woman alive. Word. Okay? So cortisol will give instructions for the baby to be terminated to keep the woman alive because conceiving is causing enough stress as it is on a woman's body that cortisol like, yo, if this stress persists, we're going to have to eliminate this child, and then another set of hormones is created and it attacks the child. And that's why the woman has to create, within the confines of that zygote, that thick layer of mucous membrane, because her body at times attempts to terminate the child. In fact, the body didn't even want the sperm in there. It's attempting to terminate the sperm as it's coming. It's a fight. So that's why when the spermatozoa fuses with the ovate cell, that instantaneously there's a mucous membrane around it to protect that newly forming entity, that embryo, from the destruction that comes by way of the woman.
Why would it be like that if you were meant to procreate?
See, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't even want to do it because it's a very good question. Why is her body trying to stop the sperm? Well, that's another thing. But the point in the case is, now going back to the males, going back to people in general, just a nice gesture of how are you doing produces the same hormone that makes you feel good when you do crack. Now, some of you never did crack. Some of you may have done, let's think about the up drugs like coke and, what's an uppity drug? Maybe ecstasy or Molly, MDMA. I think those are the same things. The up drugs. Whatever makes you giggly, want to have sex and do wild stuff and be wild and reckless. Whatever puts you on a high, you can get a natural high off of life by doing nice things for people or nice people doing nice things for you. By calling someone and just reminding them you're thinking about them. And if they should really feel it, like, yo, somebody's really thinking about me. Whether you realize it or not, on a lower level, it may not be crack or cocaine level, but if you got enough people, if you surround yourself around enough people that actually care about you and they do things that demonstrate that, you'll get a higher for life. And if you work a job where you're not underpaid, every time you do get compensated, you get a higher for life. But if you work a job where you're not properly paid, then it does the complete opposite. You wind up depressed. So the goal has always been to underpay us so we don't get a high out of life. They cheat us out of this existence. They cheat us out of the natural high by not paying you properly. Because when you're paid properly, you produce oxytocin. So donating to others, making money off of your investments, making money and then be able to do something nice for your children. This gives you highs off of life. But because people are not making enough money to do nice things for people they love, they don't get the high out of life, and they're rather depressing, and they hate money. They talk about it like money has done something negative to them. Okay? So you can get a high off of life being properly compensated, making good investments and getting your returns, and also getting that money and then doing something nice for people you know and don't know. It creates a natural high. If you do a number of these different types of things, you will be higher than the crackhead without the destruction. without the addiction. Because guess what? If you got addicted to doing nice things for people, it would keep you on a perpetual high. If you got addicted to making investments and getting a return back on your investments, it would empower you. And that's a great high. Being addicted to being compensated for the good job you did. Getting a return from taking a mild risk, but knowing it was an educated risk. And when you got the return, it gives you a natural high. You see, we don't get involved with investments. We don't make enough money to really do what we want for ourselves or for our family. So we're down, we're gloomy, we're negative. It costs too much to be poor, because now you're losing your damn soul. You're losing your spirit. Soul, etymologically, mind. You're losing your mind. Okay? You're losing your spirit. Lost your spirit. Spirit, breath. You don't breathe with the same conviction. Respiration, opposite of respiration, is inspiration. You're not inspired. Just want to make sure you understand what I'm saying when I say the words that I'm saying. You're losing your soul. You don't have the same spirit. And you're no longer inspired. So 2020 is very important. It's very wild because words are our GPS to reality. And we know 2020 normally alludes to very good vision. And you have to be able to forecast money. I want you to know that if you don't learn how, save has to be synonymous with the word invest. When they tell us to save, the money does nothing. It just sits there. If it just sits there, it's going to be spent. It's going to be less money. So saving has to be synonymous with putting money somewhere where there's no risk, where it could grow. Like a tax lien annuity. You can leave your money in the bank for a whole year and won't gain 2 cents unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in there. Or you can leave your money in a tax lien annuity for a half a month to 2 or 3 months and you can gain money. Void of risk. So I'm saying to you that you need to save your money so one day your money can save you. I'm too smart to be broke, and it costs too much money to be poor. I'm just saying things that should resonate, because if it does, it'll really set you on your path. Save your money so your money can save you. Go into the 2020 year, the vision year, and just use it as a metaphor. It don't have to be real. It don't have to be something you live and die by and argue about. The year is called 2020. You know what your mind thinks when you hear 2020. You think of the vision. Think of how you see yourself existing in the year 2020. You don't want to go into being poverty-stricken again. You're too smart to be broke. And it costs too much money to be poor. And if you don't save your money won't be able to save you. This is real talk. Okay? So like I said, the consultations $200 an hour, $300 in person. If you're interested in it, you hit me at brotherpolite45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number. Never send an email without your phone number, and let me know what it is you're inquiring about. Those of you that are ready now, I'll get on and call you. I only will be able to call a few people, but I'll call you nonetheless. I'll do my best to hit 10 people. Bow. I have an administrator get online as well. But then there's the credit course, like I said. Get your lines of credit. Get a $1/10 of a mil at your disposal. And damn it, if you come up short and you only get 40, 50 grand at your disposal, that's good. And get this financial literacy going. Or get the economic course, entrepreneur course. Learn about 3 different streams of income that you and your child can employ and make 1 to 3 grand a month. After you pick up the data and learn what to do in the direction, an extra 1 to 3 grand a month may help you out. It's a little bit, but it's a lot depending on certain people's circumstances. So that's not for everybody. Some people, oh man, only 1 to 3,000. I don't need it. Yo, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. If you show me how to make an extra $150 a month, that ain't gonna make me sweat. I'm gonna take that too. Facts. I'm too smart to be broke. And it costs too much money to be poor. The world is given to you when you have money. Everybody does things for you for free. They invite you to awards and everything because you're popular. Because they know your following knows that you went to the awards. So it's a selling point. If you go, then they'll say, I got to start going there because the person that I follow, he be going there or she be going there. People give you free clothes because you're popular. People give you free food. People say, can you please wear my shirt, wear my hat? There we go. I got a new shirt and a new hat. Yo, listen, I got on this. I start really thinking, there's just certain things wealthy people ain't going to be doing. Like a lot of wealthy people, don't go to barbershops. Not because they don't want to be seen. Because it's a certain luxury that's not necessary. They cut their own damn hair. They practice a behavior for so long, it becomes them if it wasn't them in the first place. You got to remodel your mind. This real estate right here. You need to do some renovations. You got to foreclose on that old mind and gentrify that joint a little. Upscale that shit. Get rid of the Negroes in your mentality. And come in with a whole new elite group of melanated people to run that thing up there. Yeah, it costs way too much money to be poor. You kidding me? I think about poverty and I be like, shit, I can't afford that. Y'all gotta really think about it. It costs mad bread to be broke. Everything costs more money. No one does nothing for you when you broke because they don't trust you. When you making bread, they be like, yo, you can leave and you don't gotta even pay me back for this car until next year. Yo, when you got money, they be like, yo, oh, you want to move into this house? I tell you what, the first 2 months is free on us. I promise you, right or wrong. I've been there. And I'm like, yo, just sign this shit quick. I don't think they know my shit was fucked up back in the day. And now because I've lived somewhere for 2 years straight, was that the Legacy? Living at the Legacy, one of the wealthiest zip codes in Los Angeles in America. Just on the cusp of Rodeo Drive. I went to Ashley Furniture and was like, yo, I want to get this. Okay, take it. I'm like, I don't got to pay. Them bitches gave me near $10,000 credit. Pardon my language. I said, yo, why you giving me $10,000? That shit's crazy when you start asking people, yo, why you giving me 10 bands? 10 bands in what? Furniture. I'm like, yo, I'm in there. This shit happening again. Niggas just keep giving me shit. What the fuck? No, we just check it out. See if you apply for the history right. I like, nah, I always get turned down for shit. I was learning what was going on. I'm like, yo, nah, I know this shit. I can't even get a Walmart card, my nigga. I'm not falling for this shit again. And yo, they gave me a $10,000 approval. I had ordered so much furniture and shit, and I still had like 6 bands left. And they said you ain't gotta pay until like 6 months from now. You ain't gotta start your payment till 6 months. I'm just letting y'all know, it costs too much money to be poor. Cause when I was poor, I'm telling niggas like, yo, I gotta sleep on the floor. I got children. I got a recliner that me and my wife, and she's conceiving, we're laying out of. Y'all don't think y'all can hook me up with some furniture? Nah, fam. Your name your shit dirt on the streets. We heard from Sprint how you work, so we ain't about to give you a couch or a mattress, my nigga. You can't even get no sheets from us on the house. Now I'm making bread. I get $10,000 of anything I want in the store. Shit, all I wanted was a little sectional. And that really put me in a good position, not having to buy all of that, because then I was able to put my money elsewhere. And when I paid it off, my limit went higher. Yo, it's crazy. And it was all because of where I lived. So things started clicking. I mean, the way I became the way I am and the information that I've learned, when I share this stuff with you, I be coming from personal places that I ain't never going to be poor again because I know the disadvantage now. If I would have knew all the advantages to having money, I would have not bought a lot of sneakers, a lot of jewelry, a lot of fronts, and yo, I wouldn't have bought a lot of shit. I would have held out. I would have held out if I only knew how much money and how much opportunity and privilege would have been allotted to me if I would have just been a little more patient and built my credit up and cut off ties with people that give me ideas to do destructive things to myself and others that cost money and time. I would have studied even more information that was necessary, that is. You know I'm a sucker for studying. I be reading mad stuff. Like right now, the way I read is always got to come back to heart. It got to affect me immediately, on my family, economically, politically, socially. Credit course is already in motion. You'll get the first 4 classes in the 33 PDFs that are templates that represent affidavits that'll be sent to credit bureaus and financial institutions alike for the purposes of removing negative items off your report, adding positive items to your report, and boosting your credit score, and seeing to it that you get approved for larger lines of credit, whether it be your credit card, personal loans, or business loans. Our goal is to see if we can get you access to $100,000 amongst different mediums, so you at least have 1/10 of $1 million. That is the goal. Everyone can get 1/10 of $1 million in credit. Everybody can. Don't let them lie to you. You over here crying because they're not even giving you $5,000 or $10,000. That's BS. Everyone has the right to get access to 100 bands minimum. Now, I'm from the hoods. I don't give a damn if I say the word bands. It don't bother me none. I'ma still eat. And I still got Ashley credit. God damn it. I can buy me furniture whenever I'm ready. So ain't nobody telling me nothing. Nobody telling me nothing. I'm really with the shits. Like, I'm from Brooklyn, man. Every day that I live good, I be remembering I'm from Brownsville, I'm from East New York, from the 90s. Every day I live good, I be like, man, every day is an extra day on planet Earth. I remember thinking every birthday I'm probably gonna be dead. So in my world, real talk. So if I say bands instead of thousands, and someone go, oh, no, I'm not going to learn from that Negro. He said the word bands. Doesn't stop me from blowing up my Ashley credit. Oh, man, I'm going there and buy a damn coffee table or some shit. I don't even drink coffee. I'm going to get something for the magazines just for fun. But anyway... And Brooklyn, for real. From Brooklyn, man. Out the 90s. Y'all know that. You know that. Oh, my gosh. He went from saying bands to snow that. Yo, I'm just a happy dude. Because listen, you'll talk. I'm giving you a revelation. It costs too much money to be poor. I'm giving you a divine revelation. If you ain't learned nothing from me ever, if you ain't learned nothing from no one else, I want you to really meditate on that. And have an epiphany tonight, like, 2020, I'm going to have enough patience to stop being poor. And I want you to know, just because you're able to buy your nice pair of shoes or a nice shirt, doesn't mean you're not poor. Poverty begins for a family of 4 at $32,000 a year and for an individual at $15,000 a year. Wealth begins at over $150,000 a year. So there's over $100,000 gap between poverty and where wealth begins. So anything under $150,000 a year is sus. And when you make $150,000 a year, hopefully you're using the 50-30-20 principle, which is 50 obligation, 30% miscellaneous, and 20% is supposed to be allocated and divvied up between investments, debt, and the credit thereof. That's how you're supposed to break up your money. And within that confines, you're supposed to be able to invest 1/3 of your income, win, lose, or draw, with the other 2/3 keeping you above surface and comfortable. And if that's not the case, then that means that you have your income to expense ratio is too disproportionate. So you got to really be mathematically sound in order to survive out here. So even when you're making over $150,000 a year, you don't want your income to expense ratio to be compromised. That's why you study the 50-30-20 principle, and you make sure you understand that 50% goes to obligation, 30% goes to miscellaneous, and 20% goes to investments and debt in retrospect to your credit. So even the debt that you get into is strategic so it can build your credit. Okay? The debt that doesn't, the things that don't build your credit, that is not debt, normally falls on the wealth score quotient line, and that's the stuff they don't teach you. Which is the reason why somebody with a lesser credit score can have more privilege than a person with a higher credit score. Because you might have a slim file. So yeah, your credit may be 740, but how come nobody's giving you a black card? Yeah, your credit is 750, but how come no one's giving you $200,000 credit line? That's because you only got your light, gas, and phone bill and rent that you pay on your credit. Well, other people have shelf corps, trust funds, landlines, strategically place addresses, added items on their report. See, you got people with slim files, and then you got people who have diversified their credit portfolio to the extent that since they do enough, even though their score is lower than yours, their wealth score quotient is higher. Then you got to know the difference between a FICO score and an Advantage score in retrospect to a TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. And then you also got to know what CDAs are, consumer data aggregates. Then you got to make sure that your reporting is evaluated by you per LexisNexis and check system, spelled with an X. These are things they don't teach you in school. So you go to school between pre-K and 12th grade, which is 14 years of school. And in those 14 years, they're supposed to prepare you to be an adult. They're supposed to exercise both sides of your brain. Because the left side of your brain is supposed to deal with math, science, language, and reading. The right side of your brain is supposed to deal with music, art, emotion. You walking with me? So school's supposed to give you gym, supposed to give you music, supposed to give you art to exercise the right side of the brain. And then they're supposed to give you language, math, science on the right side of the brain. But oftentimes when you go to music class, they still have you reading using the left side of the brain, don't really have you drawing. And when you go to art class, they still have you reading and learning about famous artists. They still got you using the left side of your brain. And then for gym, if you guys are good, you can stop doing push-ups and maybe you could play for like 10 minutes. This is the BS that goes on. So the emphasis is heavily on the left side of the brain. So we overcompensate the second we rhyme two words, and now we're rappers. Everybody wants to be a rapper or a singer or a dancer because we didn't get to exercise that emotion in school. So we overcompensate when we get out of school because our high school information is no good, because when we attempt to go into a college, we have to take remedial courses because we're not going to a college that corresponds with our high school because our parents didn't think that far when we grew up in the hood. So when we attempt to go to a college that's non-corresponding to our high school, we're not accepted based on our information. So we have to take some remedial courses and classes. And then when we do get accepted into that college, the credentials that we get from that college pales in comparison to what other people are going to colleges and getting their credentials from in the same genres. So we're always behind. But the case in point is supposed to be preparing you to be an adult. An adult is able to deal with food, clothing, and shelter. In school, they didn't teach you how to cook outside of that pizza, which is filled with fibroid-containing exponents, because dairy is high in estrogen. Fortified foods, like the flour that they use to make the spaghetti, is high in estrogen. And an excess amount of estrogen creates fibroids or problems with the prostate, because too much estrogen in the male's body causes prostate cancer. Too much estrogen in the female's body causes fibroids, and the only cure for that is to replace the womb, or she winds up having a prolapse of uterus. And anterior pelvic tilt, which leads to synergistic dominance and offsets problems at the consequence of the knee, which turns into ankle problems where the inflammation normally goes down between the knee to the ankle for women. And then now you're going to wind up having bone density problems, especially if you attempt to diffuse all this by drinking milk. And the milk doesn't have enough magnesium to be accompanied by the calcium. And everything that they say calcium is good for is actually what magnesium is good for, not calcium. So calcium is good for the bones? Nope, that's magnesium. Bone density? Nope, that's not calcium, that's magnesium. What magnesium does is make sure that calcium doesn't tear up your bones. And when you drink too much milk, especially from animals, when you drink milk from animals, it's high in sulfur-containing amino acids. And because sulfur compromises the integrity of your pH and makes your body acidic, what your body has to do is buffer calcium off of your bones and allocate it into deposits into your kidneys that can eventually lead to wind up having diabetes. Because it buffers the calcium off of your bones, because the sulfur-containing amino acids causes the pH of the body to become acidic in places that it doesn't need to be. Because that's what happens when you take an animal protein. It's high in sulfur-containing amino acids. And when this happens, then what happens is the amino acids that are enzymes wind up being disfigured by the substrates, which is the part of the amino acids that become enzymes, like Pac-Man, that are used to break down chemicals that may be negative, destructive, or hard to break down, like disaccharides, such as the lactose molecule. It's a disaccharide, so it's not just one block, it's two blocks in one. So you need an enzyme that could break it down. But you don't have that much lactase. Anytime something has an ASE at the end of it, that suffix means it's an enzyme, specialized group of amino acids that creates an enzyme. And ose at the end means sugar. So that the aces have to meet the oses. But where the aces do the breaking down, that becomes disfigured, so it can't properly break something down. And that site of the enzyme is called a substrate. Yeah. But what you're talking about, that's B1. That helps with focus. When a person is having a problem focusing for too long, they probably B1 deficient. That's called thiamine. That is B7. That's called biotin, scientifically. Yeah. And that's good for the skin, the hair, and the nails. Riboflavin. Yo, man, I'm not going to go through the whole B complex. Yeah, B12. I'm not going to go through the whole B complex. Y'all crazy as hell. Y'all crazier than me. You see me blacking and going all over the place. You're like, let's go all over the place with them too. Throw anything out there. Yo, I really do this, man. That's what I'm telling you. That's why, let me tell you something. With these debates, I don't want to be debating the things I want to debate about because people don't study that much for me to really debate them. So I do that stuff for fun and it's comical. But when these people talk about vaccines and this, that, and the third, I'm like, yo, listen, bro. Tell me 7 things that constitute a living cell. Tell me about DNA. Okay? Tell me what reverse transcriptase is. You know so much about vaccines and everything. You know something about holistic health and you want to call this one pseudo and that one pseudo. Tell me what reverse transcriptase is right now. Tell me what the endoplasmic reticulum is right now. Tell me what the Golgi apparatus of the cell is right now. Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum. Tell me what those are. Because if you know all this stuff about DNA, you must know what a cell is and what it constitutes. Because you can't just read certain passages. Oh, vaccines are good for this and they're good for that. And y'all bugging out. No, bro. Let's start it from the cells. Let's go to RNA. Don't tell me nothing. Tell me about RNA without saying it does all the writing like Tahuti. Do that. Tell me about reverse transcriptase. Tell me about operons. Tell me about codons. Tell me about repressors. You see what I'm saying? Tell me what a lac repressor is. See? So, these people got no business even having a conversation with me. Like, if I was on some ego stuff, I can really just be arrogant and talk very negative to people and disrespectful. I be really wanting to do that. But I very much matured as I kept learning more. But it be in me. Sometimes I just want to say, like, B, you ain't got the right to even talk to me about anything. It be funny, though, because these brothers be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so that's pseudoscience, you know? And they all talk like they got food in their mouth. Like, is there a boot camp where you got to put like a chicken bone in your mouth and talk about health and say, yo, periodically? This is science, yo. This is science. Yo, that's true, though. That's true. Scholarship. Y'all can't with my scholarship. And I be just sitting here like, yo, son is actually stupid. I be hurting about that. Like, you're dumb if you can't realize somebody knows way more than you and you need to just humble yourself and see if you get information from them instead of antagonizing them. Especially if you see them looking at you like, this is ridiculous. Because my only issue with responding to people when I'm debating is how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to do it scientifically. I'm going to do it politically. I'm going to do it socially. Because, yo, I read so much that every time someone says a sentence, several things are coming into my mind. And I'm like, I can't wait until and then I don't even know how to calculate what I'm going to say. I'm just going to start talking and let it happen. And I love when I'm being disrespected, but I don't like it. Ain't that a paradox? I don't like the disrespect. But when you disrespect me, it gives me the intimation that you really think you know more about the subject matter we're debating. Rule number 1 to debating is never debate a subject that you don't know about. And I know that sounds very simple. Don't debate on things you don't know about. I know that sounds simple, right? But every time I debate, I know I'm debating someone that doesn't know what they're talking about. I would never take the debate if I didn't know what I was talking about. And I'm not talking about know 2 or 3 things, people. I'm talking about like knowing this inside out. I'm not taking a debate if I don't know something inside out. My logic wouldn't allow me to do that. I deal with propositional logical deduction. I don't deal with that crazy stuff they do. I deal with sentential calculus and Robert's rules of conduct. The truth table. I deal with that kind of rational thinking. I don't, well, man, I've been reading this for the past 2 days. I'm about to go in the ring. Tell that brother, you don't know. Because what happens is you're going to gas out. And when I take you into deep waters, because that's my goal. We're going to punch and keep jumping around until one of us gets tired. And yo, I can jump around all damn night. And I can swing all night. You're going to gas out. Because I done remembered more things than you forgot in your life. That's for people that debate. Because I don't take on debates that I don't really understand what the hell I'm talking about. And if I'm passionate about what's going on and you disrespect me, I get so angry, information comes out. They get so angry, curse words come out. There's a difference. It's a difference because I genuinely care about people being misinformed. Listen, you know it'd be wild. If I was lying, I wouldn't be able to look in the eyes of my family. My family would tell you. My family would tell you. It'd be 2, 3 in the morning and I'd be like this on the phone, watching educational documentaries. It'd be early in the morning, I'd be reading a book. I stay with a holler somewhere. I'm on the plane. Whoa, I got mad time to read finally because I'm just cut off from the rest of society. You feel what I'm saying? I read every day because it's my video game. The more you learn, the less you know. So I'm always in fear of the fact that there's something else out there that's life-changing that I don't know about. And that bothers me. Because I already wasted too many of my years not knowing. And conscious science is to know. So conscious is to be with the know. With knowing. And then the other conscious is to be responsive to stimuli. Yeah, real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk. So I just want to thank you guys. I can finally take this thing off for a little bit. Goodness gracious. Woo. But yeah. I'm busting moves, making moves. On my next live or 2, I'll show you where I'm at. Having a good time. Yeah, addicted to success. Whenever I learn something new, endorphins get secreted. If you gave yourself the opportunity to study, oxytocin and endorphins will secrete every time you realize you got access to life-changing information. And then when you use the information, that's the goal. You can't just learn about it. You have to make it applicable. And when you make it applicable in your life and you're able to realize the impact that it's had on your life for the better good, oxytocin and endorphins are secreted. And they have an addictive effect. So what happens is I'm so addicted to finding out things that make me grow in perspective and in disposition that I have to keep seeking more. It is my video game at this point, but it takes conditioning. It's just like somebody working out. At first, it's like, I don't feel like doing this, but you do it so much, then it's like you wake up like, yo, I gotta work out. I can't do nothing unless I work out today. Real talk. Real talk. You have to, it's a conditioning process. You gotta reprogram yourself. It's an operating system. Real talk. Word. TV's cool. I'm a movie buff. I love movies and I love sports. And what I love about movies is considering who's the people that's deciding how green the grass will be, how tall the trees will be. Who's the people that do the research historically to make sure there's no contradiction in a film that's supposed to take place in the 80s. Like, I love just the thought process behind people getting their aesthetics right. Then the story. So I appreciate it for the art that it really is. I love the story, and then I want to see, yo, hold on, they slipped up there, because that didn't exist in the 2000s. Anyone in my house could tell you. I'd be like, yo, man, hold on. Oh, they slipped. I don't like the fact that happened. I paid my money for this movie. Why this nigga got an iPhone? You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't even exist yet. You know, certain features to the phone. I like paying attention to those details because it makes it exciting for me if I see people stay true to the narrative. So I'm looking for different things. I love the art behind it. I love the art, man. Shit, I love the art. You know, I love the art. So yeah, I barely just randomly watch anything. Let me watch this movie. I wonder what they're doing. I love suspense and thrillers because I like to think when I'm watching. So I might watch a horror film, but I don't want to see blood. That may sound weird, but I like horror films that make you think, but I don't want to see someone's head cut off nice and slow. I don't want to see that. That shit is ridiculous. And I question the people who come out there to see that. And I don't want to be in a room filled with those type of people. That's just weird. And then I got to go to bed with that in my conscience. So no, I'm not interested in that. But I do like a little ding, damn, they got my ass. Shit, I like that. I ain't gonna front. And that probably ain't no good either. But that's my thing. I like that. I like, damn, they got me again, man. They made me jump. Shit, I hate that. But I love it. But more importantly, I love the story. I love the storyline and how if you can anticipate how that show is going to end or how that movie's going to end. Man, that's beautiful when you do that to somebody. That's why I always like The Sixth Sense. I like The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis because when it ends, it's like, damn. It's one of those movies you can watch again knowing how it ends because you appreciate the art behind the way the person wrote it and go see what they want to see and hear what they want to hear. And whenever it's cold, you see the smoke blow out their mouth. And then when they go back to the clips, when you watch the movie again, they stayed true to the narrative. And they gave you all the signs to let you know Bruce Willis was a ghost. And we ain't catch it. That was beautifully written. I love that type of stuff. That means, you know, that was written for the thinking crowd and for the crowd that just wants entertainment. Oh, thank you, man. Joshua said, this is a really good live, bro. I don't like that mess either. Word. Yeah, you got to read and study. Plus, it's good for the brain. Because if you're not exercising your brain, you actually lose your mind. And that's the reason why a lot of our youth just resort to drugs and do foolishness. Because they don't realize the value and expedience of using your brain. This means, even if you eat right, you have to do something with the results. Otherwise, the body's like, no need for this stuff anyway. You have to do things. Like, if you're not going to be happy, don't eat happy food. I know that sounds weird, right? But the selenium in walnuts also helps you produce serotonin. Taking in enough probiotic foods or sources, probiotics, that helps with your mood, right? Because 95% of your serotonin, which deals with your mood, is produced in the gut. 95% of it is made in the gut, your happiness, right? So if you're generally a person that laughs a lot and likes to have fun, you got to have a diet to compensate for the come down. So you find a lot of people that are like exciting people, make you laugh, they tend to be very depressing when they're not active. And so many comedians are very negative people in real life. They're like, if they're not making everyone laugh, and then when you listen to their jokes, it's actually depressing. They making fun of themselves. A lot of these people are just down. I promise you this. So you have to eat the foods that rebuild or replace the chemicals that make you happy, because when you run out of those chemicals that make you happy, you're out of gas. It's just like if somebody uses ecstasy or Molly. There go that damn battery percentage, right? It's just like if somebody uses ecstasy or Molly, right? The first time they use it, their brain is like, woo! Second time they use it, wow! Third time they use it is like, if they like back to back to back. Third time they use it is like, okay, I might need 2 doses. Fourth time they use it, they take two doses. Woo! If they still using it back to back, wow. 7th time they use it, yo, I got a headache. Because they're not giving their body the opportunity to rebuild and replace the chemicals and afford themselves the opportunity for the process to be that happy at such an extreme. So now the damn thing don't even make you happy. You just get a headache because it doesn't have nothing to tap into. So you get a headache because the headache is a sign. Nigga, stop using this shit. We're done. We're out of it. Tap out. And you have to like subside with your drug usage or pick a different drug. So you could build up those type of hormones again to feel that happiness high again. You have to take some time off. That's how that works with these drugs. So, even if you're living a drug-free lifestyle, your happiness can be responsible for your anxiety. If you don't replace the chemicals or if you don't replace the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that are requisite to being able to establish that level of happy, you will find yourself in mood swings. Because you have to use something to be happy, like you have to use something to be angry. So you're generally a happy person. You need to replace the things that you've used up to be happy. If I play basketball right now and I sweat, and I weigh myself before I play ball, and I weigh myself after I play ball, and I see I lost 2 damn pounds playing ball, I need to replace that amount in water. At least half that amount. I need to replace the amount of water that left my body. And make sure it's accompanied by some minerals. That's how that works. You got to replace it. Yes, basketball is fun, right? But damn, I use so much out of me to have that fun. I got to replace it so I can have fun again. Otherwise, what's going to happen? I'm going to be subject to injury. I'm going to be more vulnerable and susceptible to injury if I don't replace what I'm constantly losing every time I play. So even happiness has to be replaced on a chemical level. True. Otherwise, you won't be able to handle the shift. So let's say I'm real happy, I'm laughing, I'm joking and everything like that. Whoo, man, oh my gosh, my cheeks hurt, I'm laughing so much. Oh my gosh. There's somebody coming and just do something real negative. I'm at an extreme. I damn near want to kill this person for blowing my high because it's hard for me to get back to happy that quick. And they just did something negative. And so now, technically, I'm closer to negative than I am to happy because I have to come down off the high unless I replace the minerals and vitamins that's necessary for me to stay up there. Because laughter causes you to burn calories. Laughter causes you to use up serotonin. Laughter causes you to use endorphins. In some instances, laughter causes you to use some portions of oxytocin. There's different hormones that give different instructions to satisfy your convictions throughout the day. For pain, for resistance, for happiness, for sadness, you actually need certain nutrients and minerals, certain vitamins and minerals to be sad. If you don't have the adequate amount of vitamins and minerals to deal with sadness so you'll be polarized in the experience, your sadness will be anxiety and depression instead of an acknowledgement of something that's taking place that you'd rather not have happened, but you have to deal with it. So we can have that conversation another day. What are the foods and the drinks you need to make sure when it's time to be happy, you can be happy? So you got some people, you be mad as hell at them, like, yo, you mean to tell me this don't make you happy? Everybody's laughing. And they looking mad as hell. Fuck everybody laughing about. Life's not fun. That's because there's a chemical imbalance. That's because they're lacking something. They don't know how to respond to it because it's not there for them to respond to it. It's not that they sitting there really trying to be an asshole. They're chemically an asshole. They're scientifically an asshole. They're not actually trying to be one. They have no choice because they're missing something. And now they're on E at that point. Now they're not as conscious, which means what? Bringing it back to be responsive to stimuli. And they're not conscious. Science means to know. Con, with. So they're not with the knowledge. They're not aware of the knowledge that makes them responsive to stimulus. See how to tie all of that in? I actually don't be forgetting what my point be. That was a point from 7 minutes ago that I was looking to make. All right now. It's a beautiful thing. It's art. It's art. I talk the way I be reading and what I like studying in cinema. That's how I talk. I don't forget my points. Because I read and I study so much that I eat and I drink for the purposes of being able to maintain this. Because I don't want to lose this. Because this is helping me get more out of my reading. And all that reading has empowered me to the point I'm in the position I'm in today. And I'm able to manifest my reality. If you don't manifest, you man-infest. So it's either manifestation or man-infestation. If you're not producing, then you're counterproductive. You're destroying. You're dangerous if you're not producing something. It's an art for real. All this is wealth. Yeah, this is the real money though. The real money up here. Yeah, and because words are GPS of reality, I stopped saying dope. So I be texting people dopamine. They be like, why are you doing that? Because I don't want to really say dope because it's a drug. It's negative. And words are GPS of reality. But it's also the first syllable in dopamine. So I just say dopamine so no one's confused about what I'm talking about. Because in that, there's teaching there. And then it reminds me about the dopamines that exist in me. Endorphins, dopamines, oxytocin. And then I'm like, okay, I know what I need to refill up on. I tell somebody, yo, that's dopamine. Because I know it made me feel a certain way. It raised my spirit. So I just say dopamine. You tweaking, bro. I know, yo. This is why I don't use drugs. Because I be afraid. Like, I'm already at an extreme with happiness. And my mind be all over the place. And I be talking about this, that, and third. So I be thinking, damn, what is Polite like if he uses drugs? I don't want to lose my mind. That'd be an atrocity. And I know there's some drugs that can help leverage this existence experience and take me to levels of grandeur. I'm sure. Right? But I just don't want nobody to lace my joint, and the next thing you know, I'm not the same. All it takes is one bad situation with these drugs, and you're not the same. And I believe whatever a drug can elevate me to, I can do that myself. Real talk. Because I know I could produce DMT if I stay in the dark for 36 to 72 hours. I could produce enough milligrams of melatonin that it equate to DMT, about 25 milligrams. But I'm not going to go into that right now. I can get the same experience people get out of DMT if I go into confinement and stay within darkness. And I produce enough melatonin until it accumulates to about 25 grams. Then I would have something equal to a DMT shot. Bow. And I could go where they went without me taking a drug. So now it's like, am I willing to go the long route? Yeah. Don't always got to microwave the situation. Drugs is microwaving the opportunity. But so much is gained when you take that long walk on a short path. See? You can take a long walk on a short path. I don't need no damn drugs. People be like, yo, try this, man. Yo, you would love it if... I say, yo, what's in your spirit that make you feel like you gotta push drugs on me, fam? It'd be like people's whole world to be around me. Yeah, I be clubbing with Floyd, and everybody drinking alcohol, and Son and I is just like, we got the ginger ale in our glasses. I just started drinking here and there, but it's really here and there. But Floyd be over there, I'm like, yo, that's why I love this brother, man. Everybody... He got the bottles there, it's coming left and right. He lit, they lit. He high off it, yo, I'm making money. He's so high off the fact he make money. He don't have liquor in his shot glasses, but he be drinking up shot glasses just to be part of the whole experience of everybody. But he don't be having no alcohol in it. I'm like, damn, Floyd. I love that about Mayweather, man. I love that. Because he's high off of life. He's making so much money, that shit be making him high off of life. He don't need no drugs. He don't need no cheat codes. And he don't need the microwave experience. He's properly compensated for things that he does. And he can't get enough of it. He money make. He keep making money. He keep getting a natural high off of life. I love it. I got you. Real talk. Real talk. Keith Johnson, peace to you. Shayana, got you. High off of life. Your high off of life turns you to a manic high. Jacquees, they hate on me. That's true. Stop lying. You be smoking the devil's lettuce. I don't even know how to interpret that. That must be the weed heads jokes. I'm not sure if you're talking about real lettuce or not. I really be out the loop. I only look like I understand that world. Man, you late as heck, Arnold. On the first credit course, let me get this out the way and get up out of here. I'm glad we survived the dying phone trauma that I was going through. My goodness. But you could go to brotherpolite45gmail.com if you want the consulting. That's $200 an hour, $300 in person. You would make the payment. I would send you some questions. You would debrief me on your specific interests and needs. In my evaluation, I'll be able to make an assessment, get the necessary resources together, the addresses, the website links, or whatever it may suffice to give you. And in that, I'm optimizing your experience because I don't have to ask you about your interests and all these other miscellaneous things and nuances, because that can easily cut into at least half or more of the time. So I do all of that first, make my evaluation respond to everything you got there, and then when we do the consulting, I'm better able to serve you. So I have to work before I talk to you. And that's just so we can get results from the consultant. I want to give you as much results as possible. That's one. Okay. Next thing. The entrepreneur course is in fact $250. You'll learn about 3 different streams of income. You make $1,000 to $3,000. It's designed for parents and children to make income, but you don't necessarily have to be a parent or a child. And you could do your thing. These things are designed for the New Year's. That's why I'm releasing the next set of classes for the New Year's. It's being released on the 1st. When you open up your email on the 1st, Happy New Year's. You guys will be the ones focusing on making your money. Not the bags under your eyes, but the bag under your eyes will go so you get the real bags in your hand. They're going to move from your eyes to your hands. Okay? And then you have the master course, which entails me teach you about real estate, tax lien, tax deed, how to make money, so for insurance, and then most importantly, or our main point of focus, I would say, would be the credit restoration. Why do I teach about the trust and all that stuff during the course? It's because when you get access to $1/10,000,000, when you get access to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, when you get access to life insurance monies or revolving lines of credit through trust, when you get access to credit cards that give you that 1/10 of a mil, or black cards, when you get access to this money, naturally you need to know what to invest in or have ideas. I'm not going to tell you what to invest in. I'm just going to share information about places that you may go that I'm not tied to that may be of huge benefit from my personal experience, right? So I appreciate that, sis. I appreciate that. That's dope. CBD. CBD is pretty cool. CBD oil is nice. It's the other thing in marijuana that there's a couple components in marijuana that people don't talk about, but taking CBD that's minus the THC that's in the marijuana that normally has the psychedelic effects, right? The psychoactive component of marijuana really is the THC. The CBD oil can empower you neurologically without the psychoactive part. So, yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, I'm not against marijuana. I'm against smoking. I'm not for smoking. I don't want to blacken my lungs under no circumstance. If it's really that deep and I need some marijuana, then why not boil it as a tea and drink it? See? And I want control of my mind. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm under influence, my eyes is cut low. And I damn sure don't want to be paranoid. I think too much to be paranoid. I fuck around and create aliens that don't exist and police is after me for no reason. I don't want to see me high. I'm not doing it. You could stop. It's some shit that just make people get excited. Like niggas begin orgasms shit just at the thought, yo, what if we could get him high? That would make it like, ain't gonna happen. I'm not smoking. I ain't into that. And I'm afraid somebody might lace my shit and next thing you know, my mind gone. I'm not into that. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Too many broke people are smoking and that shit turns me off. People that got no business spending their money on drugs, use drugs. I see too many people that need to change their reality financially, but they have money for drugs to escape their reality. And so that turns me off because I get a high out of making money. I get a high out of getting returns on my investments. So me putting money into drugs, it kind of blows my high just thinking about it. There ain't no videos missing in the credit course. There's 2 more classes left, so you can stop that. It's like, come on, damn people. Yeah, that's good for you, Shiana. Don't do no drugs. It's not worth it. And them psychedelics, my goodness, people be liking mushrooms and all that. But I be looking at them and I'm like, yo, your life isn't better though. So you're just getting high. Like, I want to see your life get better and you accredited to the drugs you take. I would love to see that. You might make me interested. But I see a community of people who can accredit the drugs for throwing them off course. I see a group of people who want to tell you, oh, I just think better when I smoke. You know, my shit is more clear. But why you not in a better situation since you have a cheat code to being more clear and thinking more? What the hell are you thinking about more that's not changing your situation? Stop smoking that shit. This 2020 coming, and it costs too much money to be poor. And one of the things poor people spend their money on is freaking drugs. You ain't got no money to be spending on no drugs. You've been doing drugs for how many years? You still in the same situation? Cut that and pretend you're still spending on it and save that money. I'm not out here to disrespect anybody using drugs. Y'all family. I'm out here. If somebody love you, they tell you, stop that shit. Pick it back up when you're making bread and you can afford to make mistakes. You can't afford to be making as many mistakes as you make right now. So anything that can possibly have you in error, you smoke and you get all lackadaisical and you just feel like doing nothing and chilling. You ain't got no business chilling. Last time I woke up poor, I realized I ain't going back to sleep till I make some money. How about that? That shit make you feel, smoking give you the luxury to sleep like you making money. You be sinking in the chair and everything. You ain't got no business. Hey, man, get your ass up. You on vacation mentally because you can't afford it physically. Get out of here with that drug and substance abuse. You don't need to be drinking any more than you need to be smoking. Real talk. I don't want to get on the drug community because damn near everybody on the stream use drugs. But who would I be if I don't do it and I'm just like watching y'all do it and you ain't never heard me say, yo, F drugs, man. I hate drugs. I hate them. We ain't got no business using them. And now that the government is soliciting it, before it was the worst thing on the planet. No, we can't have no weed. Everybody's getting locked up for marijuana. Now it's a business for the government? I damn sure don't trust it now. And first of all, refined sugar was outlawed. It was banned because it was considered a drug. Now refined sugar is in everything. They was going through legislation attempting to make it illegal to sell it to the American community when it first was introduced. Refined sugar. Because they said that's a drug. A drug. But it's everywhere and in everything now. And then the sugar on a lot of those candies is made from bone marrow of animals. So now you got to read the packages to make sure you don't eat the refined sugar candies that are made with the bone marrow of animals to stretch the sugar. Just look it up. You'll be like, yo, this is crazy. This is wild. I don't make this up. Word, seedless marijuana, like, yo, fam. And then some of the marijuana plants are females, some of the marijuana plants are males. And I mean, they got all sorts of transgender, bisexual shit going on with the plants. So, yeah, it's transgender plants.